Hey guys, we're getting ready to start part 2, so hopefully we'll have some more neat tips for you to enjoy your teepees. Another thing that teepee users and people that maybe have studied up on them have seen or heard about is the cold floor, and how the bottom 8 or 10 inches of the teepee is just as cold as it is outside, or close anyway. And I would have to agree, if you have any ventilation in the bottom, you can feel a significant draft down below, and it'll be 30 degrees, 40 degrees hotter at the top of the tent. And you have to have some ventilation in foul weather especially to avoid condensation. So one thing that we've used a few times now, and it seems to be working really well, is this little fan right here. This is an Amazon purchase, and it was only like $12 or $15. And it's got a little pivoting head here. It's an Easy ACC brand. I'm sure Chinese, but I didn't want to spend a lot of money on something until trying it out and just testing the theory. But it has 3 speeds, and it's USB rechargeable. So if you're carrying a battery pack for a phone, or like a Revolt headlamp or something, or rechargeable, you can use that with that same equipment. So it doesn't really, and I think that particular one's only 4 or 5 ounces. But it straps up to this pole, which we usually use a tree to save a little bit more weight. We'll just cut a tree that's 6.5 feet, a little sapling or something, and use that. But it hangs nicely up there at the peak, where it's normally about 80 degrees if you have this wood stove going, maybe even 90 degrees. I'm not kidding. It is just super toasty. But when you turn that on even low, it blows all that heat right back down, and it dries out the floor 10 or 20 times quicker. I can't even stress it enough. If on high, it's almost unbearable with the wood stove going. The battery life on that thing, we used it on medium, and it went all the way through the night. I was experimenting a little bit on high and just testing it out under the conditions, and that was during a significant snowstorm that night. And it did an amazing job. Not only did it dry out the whole floor that was open, it also dried out the wood pile really well. So that's a $15 investment that, for a few ounces, increases the comfort of the teepee in foul conditions 100-fold. I had never seen anything like that before, so I figured I'd mention that. Another thing is, I kind of like to blend really heavy-duty gear, but also save weight when you can. And I'm going to try this maybe tonight. I haven't yet, but I got this at Home Depot for, I think, $5. It's just a little galvanized ducting tee, 3-inch, that fits the stovepipe diameter. So my only gripe about these stoves is when it's really freezing out in brutal conditions, you have to sometimes take your gloves off to assemble this. And even someone that's done it a bunch of times, it can be fiddly, finicky in the dark especially. It can really be frustrating to get it set up, and let alone numbing on the hands. I'll tell you that. When it's below 0 temperatures, it's terrible. So I think if you're just one of those people that's going to be coming in and you're doing a lightweight solo thing, you don't have a woman or other people, kids with you or something, and you're more used to rugged conditions, this, I believe, will work fine without even a door, and I'm going to try it here soon. But this is $5, and what I think my plan is to just put a couple of stakes beside it, enough to rest a pipe on, maybe extend this with a 4-inch piece of the wood stove titanium, so I can set my pot on to cook with, but I can also just feed the right tinder right in the front and just keep very small fire going right here. And the draft, I think I can control enough with the damper that existing on this wood stove now, and use the same pipe, and I can just keep this, it's already, I pull it out of the pack, plug it on up, and I'm immediately ready to warm this teepee up, which to me I think is going to be a big improvement if you're not really counting on a long lounging around night. If you're just going to set this up, you want to dry out some gear, cook, and then hit the sack, I think this is going to be a better option. It only weighs a few ounces, and I think it's going to do the trick nicely. Okay, I've had it going for about 30 minutes now, and I've got some coals in there, so I've got just one round on one side, and I'm kind of just packing and poking little other pieces in the other side, and it seems like it's doing really well. It's up to 64, 65 degrees in here now on the floor, with the little fan going there. So I think it's successful. It goes without saying to be careful with this kind of thing. Maybe have obviously a water bottle or something handy, and just keep your eye on it. But this is a lightweight option that you could cook with, but definitely sufficient to dry your clothes and make the inside of this thing comfortable, as long as you keep feeding it with little twig-sized things. And this technique seems to be working pretty well. Just feed this in as it burns, and as long as you have nice dry wood, I think this would be a pretty good option depending on your situation. Okay, I've been in here for about 45 minutes feeding this thing, keeping it going, and just for temperature perspective, it's 30 degrees outside, partly cloudy, and when I came into the teepee, the thermometer over there said 58 degrees, and it was in a Helinox chair. So now, after 45 minutes, it's at 72 degrees with this little elbow stove going. And I'm still on my initial big log round that I put in there. I've just kind of been putting it in an inch or so every 10 or so minutes, but it's working really well. Like I said, the outside temperature is 30 degrees, and it was 58 when I came in on the chair. And after 45 minutes, we're up to 72 degrees with the small fan. I also do have a little bit of extra body heat that joined me. Also, the door is slightly open, so the dogs are coming in and out, and the lower side of the teepee, you can see a little bit there, is pitched a couple inches off the ground with the shock cord, because this isn't a quite level spot. So all in all, I think it's a good option. I do intend to get an extra 6-inch piece of their titanium stovepipe and one of the stainless rings, and just extend this out 6 more inches, and that'll put out, I think, probably double the amount of heat for only 1 ounce worth of weight. And I think, honestly, that'll be all I need for a solo excursion. It's staying lit way better than I thought, and there's no smoke. I think the draw, since it's open on the front, is just whirling that smoke right on up out the top. So all things good. Again, this is the Tigoat 6.75. I do have others to compare it to, but there's no need to do that now. This is a great teepee. Just the one door is the biggest difference that you should take note of. And also, it's 6.75, but if you haven't bought this thing yet and you're looking on the websites, they all say with the wood stove that they fit significantly less people. So just take note of that. This one, with 3 people in the winter, which you're probably going to be using this thing for most of the time, is about maxed out. 3 people, you can maybe fit a dog, definitely fit 1 dog, 2 dogs, and that would be about it. So, and it's about 38 degrees, I think, outside right now. Extreme winds, and we've even got the bottom edge of the teepee is 1 inch or 2 off the ground on this downhill side, with the shock cord. And inside, I loaded this up with maple further just in that demonstration, and it's easily 80 degrees. I about have to get out of this thing because it's just kind of miserably hot right now. So it really is true that you can heat these up, and with the fan, you can evenly distribute the heat, and that's a key feature to the comfort of this teepee. But anyway, I just wanted to share those things because I love this shelter for pretty much everything that's not in the summertime, and we really enjoy this. So I wanted to share some of those tips that I encourage you to try. and I think it will help you enjoy yours even more too. Thanks for watching.